Man. Man. Hello everyone, I'm going to do a quick video tonight, just really going over the 6FTC Sydney session kind of breakout. So tonight I'm a little off kilter. My son had his court of honor and all the things going on in terms of the markets and just real life. So wasn't actually too present for the 8 p.m., but that's okay. We're going to take a look at just really everything we have going on in 6FTC, everything that you can kind of expect, and really maybe a really good strategy to use for Sydney, because the best part of Sydney is what? It's no New York manipulation. So that's kind of cool. I'm gonna go ahead and minimize this real quick. I'm probably gonna have to go in there and change that Jenny Baker's title thing, but it'll be a work in progress, slowly but surely. As you guys know, the market freaking dumped. It just dumped. Hold on, let me get my little measuring tool out. It's been a little while. I don't think I have it. Oh, there it is. I was like, I know I have it out. This is NQ. It went down 0.7%. Remember, it wasn't that many weeks ago when the market didn't even move 0.7% in a day. And now that's how big the gap is. So 131 points. That's insane. And I mean, obviously those are rounded numbers, but either way, on a day where we can't really depend on really anything. So let me go here and hide all the drawings, get that out of the way. You don't really know. So it doesn't matter what time frame you go to. It doesn't matter which reversal strategy or EMA strategy or order block fair value gap. There's value gaps, fair value gaps all up and down in here. This is a huge imbalance. Like if you're using EMA crossovers or even JGX, like which is a great tried and true strategy we need to, do a video on, but a lot of people have a ton of success. This isn't the market for it because there's just no certainty. There's nowhere to go, especially as you go to a smaller time frame, right? You're up, you're down, you're up, you're down. You want to refill the gap, but you also know we're in crazy times, so there's nothing to do. That's where this 6FTC breakout kind of comes into play. Those of you guys who've been watching for the last year or so, you know that for the most part, we've been looking at 8 p.m. on Asian session. For why? It's just a great time. Now, right now, obviously, we have these huge moves in the market, but the benefit is even when there's less moves, you're obviously gonna get 100 points or something. You're still gonna get a smaller, way smaller move, in which case you can use a larger contract size, but you can still catch these moves, which is kind of awesome. So we already went over quite a bit in terms of this morning's class, and that was awesome. But tonight we're gonna take a moment and go over all the things Sydney session. So really, not that much different. I'm not going to go over settings. If I was present for this, I would have treated this very simple. So obviously we see the gap. I mean, there's no not seeing that gap. I was looking for this to sell down yesterday afternoon, well, today afternoon, but it just, nothing was happening. We stagnated all around and nothing really happened. We waited till session crossover. So here we come. If I don't have soccer, if I don't have Boy Scouts or what have you, I'm coming here only once in the evening. I try to only check my charts once in the evening, and that would be at 8 p.m. So there are, of course, some other times. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to look for any JGS signal setup. Okay. I'm going to look at basic structure, and I'm going to look at my little breakout box. You can use whatever time frame you choose. Mine is currently, let me just double check because we were altering this in class this morning, but you can use whatever time frame you want. Mine is typically on chart time, so I keep it very simple. Could you have used the 15-minute in this case? Yes. Today, yes. But most of the time, 15 minutes is kind of a big zone for Asian. In the last few weeks, 15 minutes is fine for Asian. It's totally fine. I just don't think that's a long-term solution. So if I keep working my way down, you'll notice that pretty much almost every single one of these is perfect. So let's talk about, I got a question in my DMs on Telegram saying, well, wait, what would I do in terms of this? Let's talk about it. So I wish this wasn't kind of showing right there, but that's okay. We get these, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4 bullish candles. Nice wick to the downside. That's our first 2-minute opening candle. This sweep here is going to be really hard to take, but if you're taking just the break, this is a valid break. So if you're not waiting for the close, This is a valid break, potential losing trade if you're not getting out at 50%. Some of you guys are. Very, very, very fair loss because it comes all the way back down. But here, real talk, if you're on the 2-minute time frame, you pop up, you come back into here, and by the time you're coming back below, you can say, hey, you want the candle to close, especially in this kind of market, or you can wait till where it actually closes. In which case, you're getting in here, you've got one sell, this retests, and then you've got another sell which you can hold. So the way I use this indicator and this tool and this strategy is upon break. There are, like we've talked about, quite a few ways to do this. And this has quite a few good examples, right? The good, the bad, and the ugly, because everyone wants to show the winning trade and not the rest, right? Beautiful. Of course, hindsight is 2020. Everybody wants to fill that gap. I know I do. When this is forming, this doesn't look like a wick. Obviously, it looks like a full body candle. So as you're coming up, you take this trade. I'm managing with a mental stop loss at the 50% and a hard stop loss on the other side. So I would have got knocked out here, okay? But that's one trade. I'm allowing myself 3 trade entries per session unless the first one I got was a runner, right? If the first one I got, I happened to get this big old kind of outsized move, I don't allow myself any more trades in that session, just the one. But typically I'm not getting that. Typically I'm getting the one little move, and then the bigger move kind of toward the end, depending on how New York goes. So here we go. We took one loss. Wasn't present for that to take it. Woohoo. And then by the time we get to here, not only are we knocked out, but now we've got that candle close. We know we're going to be targeting lows, so I'm not necessarily going to close here. I'm going to place my take profits. Let's go to short. I got this question in the DM, so great place to answer. Remember, I'm using a mental stop. I need the close, which yes, can be risking more, but also statistically is showing me I have a better odds of winning. And it's more profitable long-term. More profitable long-term. That's really all I care about. So I'm going to be putting this stop loss, pretending like we don't see what happens at the lows. And anybody who's been working with me for a while knows I don't target the exact lows because I don't want to get, missed by a tick or missed by a point. That's the worst feeling ever. So slightly before the lows is where we would have got knocked in. So if you're trading 1%, for example, you've got a 1% loss, a 2.1% gain. I'm going to move this over. Let me account for that loss. One moment, uno momento. This is NQ. I would have been targeting these highs, but I digress. Put this all the way up here because I would have gotten out actually on the whole boundary there. That's 1, that's 2. By the time I'm watching this candle by candle, and this is without going to a different time frame, we've wicked up, we've come, and we're confirming that this direction is accurate. So when this candle closes, I can't just enter it here. I know it looks good on paper, but I have no confirmation when this is happening. Because when this wick is coming up here, this looks like a bullish candle. So I would have had no reason to think that this is a reversal candle at the time. Plus, we had this wick of rejection that came down and touched that low. So as this was forming, I have no confirmation. However, by the time that candle closes bearish, okay, let's go to shorts. In this video, we're going to go over a couple of the things we've got going on, just the breakout strategy, answer a couple of the questions we've got in the DMs, and then move it on to next week because we got a lot of videos. But here we go. By the time that bearish candle closes, now I can put a pending order, and I've been using a lot of pending orders. I can put an order here that says if we keep moving down, I want to be in this trade. So from there, if I look left, I don't have another target, right? I don't have another target whatsoever. So I'm going to scroll out a little bit more. Like I said, I was targeting this earlier today, and it did not want to give me the move. Granted, I should not have been in the afternoon, but I'm going to have to go up a time frame to actually show you guys this. This was the question we got. So if I'm in this, where are my next targets? We already know we targeted that low, and that's already been taken. So after that, anybody who's been trading for a while knows that I'm targeting these prior to the peaks. So prior to the low, which is right here, okay? I'm gonna put that, drop it right there. That's gonna give us our next target. Happens to line up a little bit close to that 15-minute, but if we're breaking below there, I'm gonna be targeting the next peaks. Of course, Sydney high and lows, and London high and lows, and Asian high and lows, and New York high and lows. Pre-market, all of the in between. I don't do much with midnight open though, to that question that just came in. So once we're here, here we go. I'm gonna pull this down. That would be my target. And as the candles form, because really all I need is the 1-to-1, a 2-to-1, 3 to 1, and that is a phenomenal trade. I don't need any more than that, and that's exciting. If you can get the base hits over and over again, that's what's going to make you profitable long term, especially if you're on the prop firms. They're hard. They're hard to manage with the consistency rules. They're hard to manage with the intraday or daily trailing, drawdown. It's not as cut and dry as, hey, I make 5 grand. That looks great on paper, but we need to do something else. It's just not enough. So as this is moving, yes, I'm trailing my stop loss down either manually or I've got some settings in Trade that will also allow me to do the same, but I would have been targeting right here based off of what we call an area of interest from our morning classes. I think we have a YouTube on it right here. So all pretty simple. That's NQ Sydney session. Again, I'm a little late to the draw, but I wanted to get a second to go over that and to answer the questions, which are, what time frame am I using? If there's a lot of consolidation, I don't want to be on the 2-minute. I'm going to pop up to the 5. If the 5 is too choppy and we don't get that breakout within that 20 or 30 minutes, I can set an alert or I can set a pending, but I'll move on with my day. I typically am still not trading off of the 15-minute. It's just, it doesn't match up with what I'm doing management-wise and nor contract size-wise. So it's not really aligned with what I'm doing. Not to say there's anything wrong with it. It's very profitable and all. I'm just not personally doing it. So you can do that. It's a lot safer in some ways. Other days you're just going to chop around. This is a 8 p.m., 15-minute. You get your first one, your second one, your third one. You get 3 perfect trades and no real drawdown. Really good trade, perfect trade, perfect trade, perfect trade, ideal trade. And you can see that happening all the time, all through all the different sessions. So that is that in terms of the Sydney 8 p.m. breakout strategy. We, of course, have this really cool tool that we use to make that happen. That gives us contract sizes that can set an alert on break, on retest, and all the things in between. But you don't even need to use that. You can, of course, use your own, box. This just makes it easier. And all we really want to do is make trading a little bit easier. Good evening, guys. We'll be able to get on the Zoom call as well. Do you want to get on the Zoom? Yeah. I'll send you the Zoom. Hold on. I'll get it. It's going to take me a second, though. Bear with me. I wanted to be here for the actual session, but I didn't get a chance to get back in time. Did not get a chance, but that's okay. Tuesday nights are always going to be a bit hit and miss because that's just real life. But here you go. Here's a link. If you have questions. Do you have questions? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was like, you can have the link. You're all good. If you have questions, you can come on in. Otherwise, yeah, no. Yes, you'll be able to get on tomorrow. I'm only doing Wednesday for a few weeks, though. I really feel super strongly about trying to teach people to trade independently, but also like as a community and not over. And it's hard. Ask Kurt. On the chart too much, huh, Kurt? Way too much. Way too much. Me too, though. But I have a good excuses because I'm training. Training. MS. Hi, how are you, Jay? Real quick, I'm going to go over just some of the results that we've had in our community. We've got what? $1,700 in 3 days. We've had a couple people getting payouts from, that's wild. I know he's got another one that was like a fortune. We had a couple people who have gotten payouts literally along with the 8 p.m. session, passing their props and actually getting payouts. We've got one guy who literally made $250,000 in, I don't even know, I think it was overnight. Just a wild situation, even including like some medical things he's got going on. And when you add that together, it is completely insane. So here's some results from just some of the people inside of our chat. And you made $1,000 this morning. Josiah, that's awesome. Joshua. Caught 50 pips on gold during Asian Open. Breakout strategy. You go. How do you seem to manage the psychology in the bipolar market? It's hard. This bipolar market. Hey, future millionaire. How's crypto going? How you doing? This is hard. This doesn't look like much, but this was a crappy moment to be trading because most of the strategies you're using, if you're using any kind of a fair value gap, it doesn't take off. If you're using any kind of a net order imbalance, it doesn't take off. JGX, it doesn't take off. Breakouts, it doesn't take off. It just slips down, slips up, slips down, slips up, and just did nothing and waited till after session to close to tank. This is also hard because you might be right on the sell, but it's really hard to sell against that gap, although we've been leaving gaps open non-stop. So you gotta trade what you see. And that's why this strategy, I think, is going to be a lot of people talking about orb and 15-minute breakout. That's not new. But the way we're doing this here is going to be so unique because it's literally just trading what you see. And there's not a lot of subjectivity. There's not a lot of, is that a valid order block? Is that a valid fair value gap? Or is that an SMT? Is that divergence from ES? It's none of that. It's not subjective. It's trading what you see. You're either right or you're wrong, and you go on with your day. It's quick, it's painless, it's easy. Elijah, you were walking, huh?
My bad. I was supposed to mute myself.
How you doing?
Good. I didn't trade tonight because the gap was too big, and it sold.
You did, and it kept selling too.
I was looking for that buy, but it never came.
It did not. It still isn't. You think we're gonna fill the buy before we get done?
Hopefully tomorrow.
Ideally, it'll be tomorrow.
I stopped trading like New York Open. I'll just wait till lunchtime, and it's perfect moves after lunch.
It's I think getting away from this New York Open, I like 8 a.m. or like this time period before New York Open. I like that time period after New York Open because it's just less of this. Not to say this isn't profitable, but I don't want to play with that. I don't want to play with 240 tick stop losses.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just too much. Let's
Today, I traded pretty early today, and then I got stuck in all that chop. And after lunch, it actually moved my way, so I barely won on that one.
Okay. Well, if you were trading pre-market, that was easy buy, especially I know you're using a lot of JGX, right?
No, I'm just trading the breakout.
Just the breakout. Okay.
Well, actually, I'm kind of combining breakout and do you know anything about open drive?
No. Mm-mm.
It's basically like New York Open candle, like the breakout. I'll just wait for price to come all the way back to New York Open and then just go right back to where it was, which happens like in a PM session.
Okay.
It's
I
basically a breakout with like a big retest, like on a 15-minute.
Okay.
It's been working for me.
Nice. I like it. I like it, like it. Let's see. Well, because I know there's this one guy, he trades what is it? Literally the opening bell, the candle prior to opening bell, which kind of matches London open style, which I think is interesting to take the candle prior to opening bell and just literally straddle it. And that works for him. And if it works for him, like more power to him. But to me, that just seems like it would be very fast and very hard.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff is like personal preference.
Yeah, yeah.
You gotta
100%.
find your own style.
100%. 100. Okay, well, I'm jealous that you're walking. I have not taken my evening walk.
I,
Go
I
ahead.
went to the gym and hit some legs. I can't even walk. But I am pretty profitable on 100K XFA. I'm almost to 2K
On what is that, Top Step?
on top of that. Yep.
Nice. Congratulations.
Love it.
That is awesome. My neighbor actually, he's a friend of my son's. He's 22. He is completely geeked out. He's got 200K or no, 250K accounts funded. He's up like 5,500 in them both. He's like, you put me onto this, my life's changed forever. And it's so cool just to watch him do his thing because he's still so young. Like he's completely geeked out. He's like, yeah, it's fun. It's so much fun.
Yeah. It's crazy that I used to just trade the 50K with like 4 minis. I mean micro. And now I trade the 100K with like max 3 micros. And it still feels like it's a lot.
That's just because how much movement we have right
Yeah.
now. That's all. We're not gonna have this much movement forever. I don't think it'll even last Trump's entire presidency, but we'll see. Anything's possible.
And it's
Maybe.
been great so far.
Okay.
Can't complain.
Hey, future millionaire, what's your question? Come on, talk to me.
So I wasn't able to stay the entire session this morning. I saw a lot or heard a lot of questions that I had answered, but I have not been able to see a definitive answer on if your automated script has, for one, been released, and what are the steps that I would need to do. Like the few tricks I'd been seeing that, but I saw that you had said if we were already in your group or whatever, we just needed to wait. I didn't know, what the time frame was if you had one at all.
Well, I haven't. I'm getting another developer, which hopefully we'll have some updates done in a couple of weeks, but I am going to release it to you guys. Just like Ijama, who's using I forget what software she's favoring right now because she did her due diligence. She tried them all, if you remember. Like, I don't want to pick which third-party software you guys use, but because you will inevitably need a third-party software. No way around that. But it's ready and it works and it trails. I don't think I don't think I can show it because I don't have it up on this screen right now. I'm 90% sure I just don't. Oh, I do. Here we go. So, oh, it won't show. But this is where your stop loss would be, and it took profit. It's got a couple of settings that will let you open an editor. So it should be showing some things, but it's not. It should be like the thing I showed this morning, but I'll have to pull that up when I don't have to show the whole code. But ultimately, pick your couple of times. Please don't play with these. Okay, this is stupid. So like some of those results that showed 12,000 and 20,000, you're not going to hit that. In fact, you don't want to because you'll likely blow. But just do one micro contract, probably like on MES, maybe so micro, yes, micro gold, and pick one of these. Like, don't do them all, but just test them. So a $33 Apex account, that's the way I would go. And that's what I did for all my testing for some of the automation that I'm building and or tested is I wanted a cheap place to go and see what this looked like, to see how it worked. Obviously, it's not like martingale or gridding in, so there's no worry about unless you take like 10 losses in a row, you don't have a huge problem. Like, so unless you're taking 10 losses in a row, this is 21 ticks. What is that? 21 ticks on MES. So you're nowhere near where you need to be on MAQ.
Have you looked at it on Forex?
I have not, and the contract sizes aren't adequate on Forex. When we put it on MT5, it will be. But so
Okay.
just leave this up right now. Let's go here. I know it's Forex question, but let's go all just to show you JVP. The math isn't mathing right now. So here you go. It's not wrong, but it's not visually pleasing, obviously. So come on, come out and play. So it's 9.3. So this would be like a point. That's a huge amount of risk too. So let's change that risk down. That's 375. That probably tracks because that's only what? How many pips is that? It's been a while since I've looked at this. This is 4 pips. So 0.9 is $9 a pip. Yeah, that tracks. I mean, so it's not wrong, but I need it to math better because it's still like, you know how Euro JPY is not $10 per pair? That math is just really janky. So it's not that far off, but it's not dead on either. So like, for example, if you have in here that you want to risk $375, and you can go use the strategy on Forex though. So let's say you want to risk 125, which is more than I would be risking on any automation, by the way. That's going to give you a 0.3 on 4 pips. I mean, that tracks. Hold on, let me get my calculator. And it would work too. So I would probably run this a little bit differently, but you can use it there. So that's $3.
Gold would be too volatile, though, right?
I like gold. I never like it in class, but I like gold. And we took gold this morning. It's the only trade that I did catch this morning because I was yapping for my ES trade. But this is gold, 5-minute or 3-minute time frame. That retest on the 3-minute was awesome. So we pull up. We don't actually get that. We get a little bit of a break. Technically, it's valid. You can see that by this red line here. This is the close above. You can see that by the arrow. But if you're manually trading, you retested that 50%. By the time this bullish candle closes or this one, I would enter off of these indications manually. This is going to have you entered here. And depending on which stop loss functions you're using, you can either have it out 100% here. You can have it closing some of your portion and then trailing, or you can have it doing both. So it has a couple of different settings, which are pretty cool.
Hmm.
And it would work too. This is what, 3 minute, not cherry picking. Not every trade will win. This is a good example. This is 3 minute time frame. This wins. And you can decide how many reentries you want to. So like,
Yeah, I see that.
so this would have taken one trade. This didn't fully close, so it won't take another trade. This doesn't fully close, although it touches.
Or close to the upside.
Yeah. This one doesn't close. This one, you see how there's no stop loss line, so none of these would have entered.
Mm-hmm.
An MNQ. That's your entry. It entered and you were out. All hands free.
Hmm.
That's awesome. You gotta admit. Okay, that's awesome.
It is phenomenally awesome.
I want to do this on 20 accounts. That's why I'm not giving up on Apex, is because I want to do this on 20 accounts. That's 40,000. And I'm not going to say 8 days, but in 10 days, if I can do that once every 3.5 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
that's wild, but it's going to take work. And as you know, it's not an easy factor. So we'll see.
I'm willing to play with it and see what would be the most consistent, either with Forex or with futures. But yeah, I'm that it looks really, really solid.
It's just, it makes it simple because some of the other stuff is so subjective. Not that it's good or bad, it's just subjective.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this a little bit more clear cut. Okay, let me go to the chat real quick. So somebody made $1,000 this morning. Good job. I'm so happy for you. Please put that on our little YouTube community and wherever else you're in, whether it's a Telegram or a Discord. I have to start trading pre-New York. Derek, honestly, I think that's a smart way to be, especially in today's market. I like pre-New York, less chop and wicks. Kurt he's killing it, so watch out. He's gonna buy me a Maserati as soon as he makes his billion. I'm just joking, but maybe one day. I've noticed that the 9:50 to 10:15 a.m. 5 minute high and low at first candle, it moves minimum 80 ticks. So wait, 9:50 to 10:15. You got me curious. 9:50 on the 5 minute time frame. Okay. So let's go look. You got my attention. I'm on the wrong spot, but so 9:50 is here. At 9:50 to 10:15, 5 minute high and low at first candle, it moves a minimum 80 ticks. This is 10:15. You thinking that's a daily thing? 10:15. This is 10:15. That's a whopper of a candle too. I wouldn't put like a tick number on it just because right now the amount of ticks we're using and moving is insane. And we're not always going to move that much. Right now, I can say, hey, we moved 300 points in Asian and everyone would believe me because we do. But if you would have said that a few weeks ago, they would have said, nah, that's 180 right there. That's wild. That is wild. Can you help me? The copier isn't working. If you're having trouble with the copier, please message the company you got the copier for. I'm guessing you mean Copycat. Bro, it took me like 30 degrees in Indy today. 30 degrees is too close. Jenny Buffett, bet. I'm going to work on it, Jonathan. One day, okay? I'm going to work on it. That's the plan. Italian cars all around. Okay, as long as it's Italian. Yes, Jay, they still have 80% off. Please use code 6FTC. Please use code 6FTC. I want to get bigger, or at least listen, 1 or 2% of what all the other YouTubers are doing, okay? I think that's a reasonable goal, okay? What is that, like that Bible thing where you pray and say, hey, look, just Steve Harvey says it. He's like, okay, God, if this is how many acres are in the world, I just want this percent, okay? I just want 1 or 2% to build up this community, to give away a whole crap ton of prop firms. I want to make 1,000 people make multiple 6 figures, and then I'll be good. That'll be my exit, because then my baby will be done with high school and I maybe will go to Spain or something. Spain is nice. I would live there. I would definitely live there, depending on like family and other things. I would totally live there because it's beautiful and it's a different world. So, but any other questions, comments on this? I just wanted to pop on and answer the couple of questions, um, show what we were doing, and then see if you guys have any other questions. Because tomorrow there's going to be so many more questions. So many more questions. It's going to be a lot of fun, though. So much fun. Hey, Sherry, I want you to be one of those millionaires. But now it's like, where do I get the training for the breakout strategy? There's videos in all the groups that you're in. There's videos for that. There's videos that show you how to use the indicator. There's videos that talk about the settings of the indicator. There's videos that talk about how to install it. And then there's videos that talk about uses of the strategy. And then tonight, I really just talked about Sydney a little bit to say, and it doesn't have to be 8 p.m. For the next few weeks, I'm going to do Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's correct. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I don't trade a lot of Mondays and Fridays. If I do, it's really short. Like, so if I did jump on, I don't want people to be disappointed, but it would be just like, I want to take my trade, answer any questions, and then like dip because no one needs to be on the screen that much. And it just makes us trade. It makes me trade. So if I took this trade like this morning, the truth is if I had taken, this is ES, this is too big of a time frame. Let's go here. If I had taken this trade, okay, and I missed it because I was yapping, and I got even in anywhere into here, I'm done on the day. I mean, sure, I can take that kind of unicorn setup and trade it back down into that 50% mark. Sure, I can trade the bounce back up. I can take as we go lower. I was dumb enough to be trying to play around in stupid afternoon, but I don't need anything else, and neither do you. Like that takes like 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 minutes. Some days it takes like 30 seconds. Some days it takes a little longer. Are you doing any Asian sessions? I work during the day and can't make the sessions except when I'm off work, which is rarely. I know that Futrix is going to be launching something in terms of Sydney. We do at least one class a week. We might do 1 or 2 classes that are just free and public on YouTube. So then that's kind of what I can offer right now. But I know that Futrix is going to be offering a Sydney thing here, maybe. Well, maybe. So not to go any direction. So we'll see. Are you trying to take the bag? Yes. I want all of it. You are welcome. And Sherry, like what I would do, like if you were my best friend, I would tell you, okay, so what does your schedule look like? What is your, I believe you have grandkids. Please, if I'm wrong, don't hate me. But well, the picture on there, I was thinking of somebody else's grandkids. So anyways, I would just say, hey, here's where I'm free. Here's what I can do. And I would plan my strategy around that instead of trying to be present for a market in which you can't control. It's just a silly recipe. So if you know you're not going to be that present for this, let's take this indicator, let's customize it to something that does work around your schedule and create a block of time and say, hey, here's my game plan. Here's my budget. First off, no one talks about that. Here's how much I'm allowed to spend on this, investment per month. I'm not allowed to go over, even if I blow the account or fail the challenge. Okay, I'm going to hold myself accountable. Here's my schedule. Even if Jenny messages or I get a burning bush or anything else under the sun says, oh my gosh, you have to come look at the charts. I'm not going to come look at the charts with the exception of this window of time that I have preset. Cool. Now you've got your budget, you've got your schedule. Inside of your schedule, you're going to say, hey, here's the tools I'm using, here's the strategy I'm using, and I'm only allowed X amount of entries in that time window. If I don't get my setup, I don't take my trade. Okay. That means I just wait till tomorrow. It's much better than blowing the account, I assure you. It's hard to do mentally, but it's better than blowing. And then of course in that session, you're going to say, hey, I'm allowed 1 or 2 or 3 trades. And that's it. Win, lose, or draw, whether I'm up or down, I walk away. And if you do that, you now have time freedom, financial freedom. A penny saved is a penny earned, okay? There's no sense in going and trying to get a $2,000 payout if you're spending $2,000 or $3,000 a month on challenges. 2,000 or 3,000 is not that sexy if you're spending that much every 2 weeks buying more challenges. So I really want to be mindful of that when we talk about it. Very, very mindful. And that's it. So you can do it when it's not New York. You can do it when it's not 8 p.m. either. You have plenty of times you can choose from that say, hey, this is how I want to do it. Completely customizable. Completely. US 30 is pushing up, you guys. I really want to hold to fill this gap, but it's too much risk. US 30 has the smallest one, at least here. That's beautiful. That's so much monies on the table, but we can't hold it. I can't hold it. I will leave one open on my Blue Guardian accounts. Just one position open. Just one. That's a lot. That's a whole challenge passed on, what is that, a micro or two? That's 6. Not a bad way to be. Okay, what made you personally decide 8 p.m. versus 9 or 10? I like 8 p.m. first off because of it worked around my schedule. Second off, 9 p.m. is a little bit different, although I do like 9 p.m. a lot. When the market cools back down, I would probably consider 9 p.m. again. Otherwise, I like 8 p.m. Some people like 7. I don't. I never did. Even when I lived in Colorado, it was always 8 p.m. I don't know why. It was never the time on the one of those session crossovers. I just liked 8 p.m. 40 points up currently. Okay, go get your Maserati. Well, Porsche's better though. So you're saying that the indicator can be adjusted? Yes, it is 100% customizable. You can decide that I want to take 3-minute entries on a 15-minute breakout. I want to only look at the 1 hour. That's going to get ugly. You're going to have to disable some of the previous, and yes, you can do that too, disable some of the look back period. So that would help quite a bit. We only get a few of them. Gonna have to refresh. Even then, it's too big. I'd have to make the box smaller. But you can decide all of that stuff. You can decide you only want to look at retests, which are not as common, especially, and it's not as common as you think. You can decide that you only want to trade this in a certain way. 100% up to you. So if you want to take a 1-minute break out of the 15-minute, if you want to look, hey, you were busy this morning, you had a doctor appointment, so you want to be looking at that 30-minute range and wait for it to retest 50% of it, you can do that. And a lot of that can be programmed into it using the settings. And eventually these are stop losses from automated entries that you'll be able to use. There's a couple more fixes that I sadly have to work on. Sadly, I'm very invested into it though. So we're gonna get it done. We're gonna get it done slowly but surely. Although it is functional now. It does function. I just want it more clear in terms of how it manages on the way out. I want some of the information that this provides clearer. But the function is there. And that's really all we care about, is just does it function. That's it. So yes, Sherry. That's all. Did anybody take this? Oh, Anthony had messaged me on Telegram. Hold on. I was supposed to see a quick video on how you go about the retest on ES Asian just a few minutes ago. So if I go to ES, I don't know what time frame you're looking at, but here's your break. We already talked about this pair because it's the pair I've been trading for the most part, but I don't know what time frame you were on. We already kind of went over that quite a bit. And that is that. So anybody else that maybe I can help you with this now? I did make a video that you guys should have access to that helps you get the custom script, hopefully solve some of those problems. You should have a video literally on everything at this point, and then we'll go live tomorrow. Hopefully you guys in the chat can just simply put in there, hey, I'm looking at gold, 2-minute, break. Hey, I'm looking at YM, 5-minute break. Or hey, candle hasn't closed, I'm going to wait for the candle to close and retest. Or hey, I'm looking at NQ on the 3. Here's what I want to see, and ta-da. Yes, you can unmute and ask a question, please do. I'm not on YouTube.
I wanted to wait till you finish. I didn't want to interrupt. You can finish and I'll ask you after.
Oh, Lord, no, come on out. I'm not on YouTube a lot because I don't like talking to myself. I don't think it's that much fun. So you come on out, okay?
So the quick question I wanted to ask, when I put this on, it's not coming up to my, where right now where it's at, where the market is at the moment. It's way in the back. How do you, I'm not sure how.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I'm asking the question right.
No, you are. I think I understand. I could be wrong, but I think I understand. So if I come in here to the breakout strategy, okay, yours is going to be labeled a little different. This one is still build mode. So your settings are also going to be a little disorganized. I apologize in advance. If I scroll down and I keep scrolling down, you're going to see this set of options, right? You're going to see check boxes that you can disable or enable. So that's where you're going to need to go. Currently, you probably have it set just to New York, right? Which means you're currently painting around the 9:30 open. But
Yeah, I did check all the boxes when I noticed that.
so this right here, the hour that we're currently looking at is 20 o'clock or, 8 p.m. 20 o'clock. People can laugh at me. It just makes it more fun. 20 o'clock. That's where you're going to put for 8 p.m. Or maybe again, you're busy. So you say, hey, I want to be packing up after supper and do my thing. So I want to look at 7. I like the volume at 8 a little better than 7. I think 7 is still digesting the market. This is 7 o'clock to give you an idea. This is 20. And even 7 o'clock would be a perfect breakout to the downside with the perfect retest. Just hear this, but I'll put it on just to show you. It's very customizable. So there you go. I moved it. That's and not every day is going to be this perfect. You gotta love when it's perfect. This is 7 p.m. That day is perfect. A 5-minute time frame. This is also 7 p.m. New York, this is 7 p.m. 5-minute time frame. You get a beautiful break. This one wins. You get retests. No, this is almost set to 1 entry. Is probably why we're only getting the 1. But beautiful retest, and even your sell down was technically a valid trade. But they all, because there's also another principle here that's at play that we haven't really talked about, which is using the hour open is, there's a lot that happens at that first couple minutes of every candle. I mean, 9:30 is obviously 9:30 because of New York, but there's a lot that happens at the beginning and end of a 4-hour candle, at the beginning and end of a 1-hour candle. And that's really what you're targeting. So this case, this was no good. You hit your target and you were done. So that's nice. But this, if you would have got tripped up, would have taken a loss and then you would have won it back. That would be 4 trades. But take a look. This is not cherry picking. This is 7 p.m. That's 9:30. You could tell by the volume. This is 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Too easy, huh? Oh, this one's a loser. There you go. This one comes down. I would have got suckered in. If you're waiting for candle closes, you didn't get suckered in. But the flip side is if you're waiting for candle closes, you're late to a lot of those parties, which means your profitability is smaller and your risk is higher. So this one's all kinds of a chop fest.
So which one are we really looking for the breakout from? Which color?
Okay, let's go to here. If this is New York open, and I need to turn off the, I forget which one it is that's going to turn it off. Don't laugh at me too much. I don't want to turn that off right now, but if this is where we're opening bell is, and this is 9:30, I want to see what price does, pretending like we can't see what comes next. Price is sitting right here, and that's that first opening candle. It's hard to see, but it's right there. So you get a doji. You're also at the very top of the screen by this point. So that second candle forms. All I really want to see is us break down above that upper level or below that lower level. So I'm looking for the break in either direction. And as we scroll out, this one is a bad day. You're allowed to have bad days, sorry. But we come down to about 50% of that range. I think that's where Uncle P is taking profits at, for example, is about 50% of that range. I typically don't, so it doesn't count for me. Depending on where you took profit, you're okay. Otherwise, you're SOL because you took it. You can trail down because you didn't have any kind of a retest, or this is a full-size loss, one or the other. This is your second entry. You come up here, you're above, you're winning, you hit your target. This is your third entry. So you've got multiple entries. 1 loss, win. Hold on. 1 loss, win. I would have entered in here at this candle coming up and then closing that right there below. But either way, that's 2, that's 3, that's 3 entries, even with the bad entry. 3 entries. You're risking 1% on the day. That's, what is that? 2, 4. minus the 1, so you got a 3% gain on the day if you're risking 1%. If you're risking 5%, you've got, what is that, a 12% gain on the day in however many minutes this took. And if you held any of that till our target, which would have been here, you get like a 25 or 50% gain on the day, especially since we just swept liquidity, but different topic. You're just waiting for the break here or here. Hey, Miss Be Free, how are you? My teammates and I were talking actually about some Be Free people here recently. We should definitely catch up though. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. But Sherry, does that answer your question? You're just looking for the break. The point of this is not perfection. It's not some ICT level, SMT, know what fair value gaps are, know what order blocks are. You don't have to worry about the subjectivity of EMA crossovers and liquidity sweeps. None of that. It's very simple. You have, if I come over here, let's go to a more recent one. This is your, what is that, 2 p.m., okay? You're trying to get your afternoon trade. You've made a double bottom. This is a candle. This is the time of day you're coming to look at the chart. If price breaks and closes above here, we want to buy. If price breaks and closes below here, you want to sell. The methods and rules that you apply to that, 100% up to you. Meaning, if you want to wait for the close, you can. If you want to take it on break, you can. Both of them have pros and cons. Waiting for the close might give you this, which means you've already missed it. Taking it too early might give you this wick and means you bought into a wick, which was a losing trade. That sucks too. But taking this means your stop loss is bigger. Taking this means your stop loss is smaller. So there's always going to be like one hand feeds the other. You got to pick the one that you can do consistently and that you can stick with and that your eyes are going to see. Stop loss at the end of the day is going to be 100% up to you, but I like to use a mental stop loss at the 50% mark with a hard stop somewhere on the other side of this box. And the reason why I say mental stop loss is because you'll notice, not in this kind of perfect market, but this as an example, even when you're right on the trade, especially on the smaller time frames, you're going to wick back into it a few times, but never close. So as long as we're wicking into that zone and not closing, I want to let this hold. Again, there's pros and cons to doing that. The pro is I'm not losing my trades as often. The con is when I do lose, it's usually outsized, meaning it moved farther than I needed to let it. So as always, these decisions are going to be up to you in terms of how you manage it. 100%. 100%.
So technically, you're trading from zone to zone. So whichever zone it breaks out at, that's where you take the trade, whichever direction it goes.
That's it. Yep. I mean, that's simple, right? There's nothing so complex about that, that's easy. It's just a zone. That's 100% correct.
Okay, I thought we had to take it from the orange line, period.
No. And if you don't like, so this is also fully customizable, meaning if you don't want to see that midline, it's tripping you up. If you don't want to see the outside lines, you don't have to. If you don't want the box, you don't have to have it. If you don't want the 1 hour ranges, you don't have to have those either. This is just giving me the full range. So if the opening bell range in this case is 300 ticks, this tells me this is 300 ticks and this is 300 ticks. It gives me on-screen measurements to know if I want to buy here, and JGX would have me in somewhere around here. The breakout would have me here. Okay. Cool. The break of structure would have me here. The breakout would have me here. And I just need to know, wait, if I'm targeting long-term, I don't want to be targeting these highs, minus a little bit because I don't want to get caught in a wick. But long-term, I already know that visually looking at this chart. But in real time, I need to know what my contract sizes are, how much room I'm giving this. I need to know how I'm going to measure. Like if I'm putting this as my stop loss, that's a 2 to 1. If I'm using the whole range as my stop loss, it's a 1 to 1. But it just gives me sound information and customization abilities that I find very helpful for me. Very, very helpful. You do not need Pine Editor. So chat, no, you do not need Pine Editor or know how to use it. Trust me, to make the automation work, you don't need it. That's just for the code itself. You will need a third-party service, and that's going to be 100% up to you guys. 100%. I'm hoping Ajama will come and hang out with you guys and say, hey, here's what I know. because then you get to learn from somebody who has tested a lot of those. I've only tested two, and I really hate pick my trades. So my data load is a little small there. So pick my trades is too janky, the cost is too high. It's not that it's high, it's just too high for what I want to do with it. It makes it unreasonable to use it, in my opinion. But I don't know everything, so I'm hoping she comes out and says, here's how I do what I do. And she has a very long, informative post. I believe we have it pinned in the Discord, in the free public Discord, to go check it out for those who are interested. Definitely worth looking at, because she's, good at that. She's got a lot of skills in that direction, whereas I have a lot of skills with pick my trades, and I didn't love that. So there you go. There you go. Okay, it is 9:30. I will take a couple more questions if you have them. In the chat, Nancy, it's so good to hear from you. We were just talking about some of the Be Free people and some of the different collaborations we've done in a while. To answer your other questions about Forex, I have automation that is running. So for example, let me pull this up for a second. We have, what is this? Let me pull this on screen a little bit better. I run a US 30 copier, which is it's on a Forex broker, but we've had so many problems with Forex brokers. It's just become a very unstable environment to be in. And I wish it was different. I wish I could stay the course. It was so much easier. But in the last year and a half, 2 years, it's been a complete rug pull, it feels like, for US citizens, so many things. So I can't walk away from what is literally my mainstay. That is still my mainstay in terms of income for me. I can't walk away from it entirely, but I don't trade a lot of FX at all anymore in terms of manually speaking. I have a few EAs that will trade automatically and just get small but steady gains. A couple people have done some pretty amazing things in the chat. I'll show you that in a second. And then I run my US 30 copier, which is, again, it's a couple of years into it. We've had a couple really awful moments, but otherwise still standing. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it's high risk, but that's it. We do that regularly. We close out on the day, most days. Some days you get stuck. Right now we're being very gentle because the market's been wild. That's kind of what to expect with the indices and the US 30 copier. And it just works. And then trade results. We have a rock star, this guy. He was in deep drawdown for most of the day. But this is not the sexy stuff he put on YouTube. I'm sorry, but it's the real. He also made like 200, 300% or something like that. So he's got to turn it up pretty high. That's one of the EAs that we run. So it's just manually trading for him. Although, again, I think it should have been off once we got the first tariff craziness a few weeks ago. He kept it on and then kept it on, but managed well. He's been very smart, very, very diligent in everything he's been doing. So could not have asked for more, but we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. There's no guarantees. But I wish there was a better screenshot. I think he sent it to me in DM. But just it shows you, it's in a Google Drive. It shows you like kind of the daily gains and everything else. That's all. So we'll see, we'll see. William, is that you? Latest Sniper Pro results. Yeah, I don't even see it. So no, mostly I'm doing futures, a little bit of automation, a little bit of private funds, and looking into other things. That's what I'm doing. 100%. That's it. The broker environment just got too much. When Hugo's Way dumped out, we were on our way to, well, I think we were just coming back from Italy. That's how long ago this was. So we were coming back from Italy. Everything in my entire world was exploding because Hugo's Way was my mainstay. I had so much automation there. I had my major accounts there. So many things happened at the same time. And then shortly after that, it seemed like every single broker had another issue, and then a tool problem, and a licensing problem, and then a regulatory problem, and then a MetaQuote problem. And then it was because it was Russia. And I don't even think we ended up getting to the bottom of what happened, but something happened and it was a mess. I was like, okay. And I think that spring I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna learn futures, and that's what I did. I just started learning futures, started with Top Step, got some payouts. I did pretty good. Didn't end up staying there. Not that they're bad at all. Right now I really love Take Profit Trader and Blue Guardian as my first choices. Apex if you're new and you're just trying to get your feet wet, mostly because it's 30 bucks. For 33 bucks, which you're probably going to fail, you can get a $50,000 account, which gives you about $2,500 to play with. $2,500 is definitely better than you putting your own $2,500 in, and just learn the skill. Even if you're spending 30, 50 bucks a month on that, it's still a very cheap tuition cost to learn before you go buy some of the other ones. So like Top Step is $250, or it's, what is it, $50 and then $149, so it's $200 to get it, and then plus the special data is another $29, so that's per account, by the way. And if you're losing and you have 5 accounts, that's $1,000 a month bill. So that's why I say low and slow, take it easy, do all the things. That's just my 2 cents. So anyways, that's enough for tonight. I am going to be happily, actually, it was really nice having all those people. We had so many people in our class this morning. So we will have that many people and more tomorrow. Hopefully there are less people who get stuck on the link. We'll go live at 9:15. I'll probably keep the lines muted so I can actually get into my positions and then take any questions, comments, and whatever afterwards. So if you already know that you have them or have had issues kind of getting stuff loaded and the videos that we sent out did not help solve that, then by all means, we can unmute. I will let you, Zoom or share your picture or whatever you need help with. And I will do my best to help hold your hand and get it working and answer your questions and everything in between. So, but that's it. My boys want to go get ice cream, and I super agree after the day that it has been. I think it's an ice cream kind of night. So happy Tuesday. We'll be on tomorrow morning. Hopefully this video helped you. Take care and God bless. Appreciate you, Sherry. Bye, guys.